Hello, welcome to another Seiler Instrument Quick Tip. Today we're in Trimble Business Center version 2024, but the things I'm going to show you affect most versions of TBC. We're going to talk about the Vector Spreadsheet specifically. A lot of the things we're going to discuss happen across all the different spreadsheets. Today we're going to focus on the Vector Spreadsheet. When you're on the home ribbon, there's an icon for the Vector Spreadsheet. What the Vector Spreadsheet does, if I turn on the View Filter Manager and turn on the RTK vectors, we're lucky enough to have a base station right in our backyard, but each one of these lines is the measurement from the base station to a GNSS point. When you bring up a Vector Spreadsheet, you can see it's showing 18 different columns, information about each one of those vectors. If I were to tile this view and pick one vector, it highlights it here on the map. All of the map screens and spreadsheets are interactive. Anything that's in blue, we can edit. As I said before, there's 18 columns in a vector spreadsheet. If there's something in the spreadsheet you don't need, because it looks like there's a lot of numbers there, like I didn't use tilt at all this day, I can right mouse click and hide that column. There's actually 40 different columns to choose from, and if I right mouse click, I can't add columns. Where you do that is in the project settings. If you go to the project settings icon, then you go to the view folder. If you scroll down, there's settings for the vector spreadsheet. There's 40 different things that you can turn on in the spreadsheet. And basically you decide whether you're going to show it or hide it. So if there's information that you don't need to see, like I said, we turned off those tilts before, you can turn all of them back on again. Maybe the calibration date. You want to know when the last time that R12i was calibrated. Another handy one to add is the antenna model. So you know if it was an R8, an R12. Once we have all the columns set the way we want, scroll down to default standard errors. Pick the confidence level display, and just like in Trimble Access, you can display 1 sigma, DRMS, 95% or 99% confidence levels. If you set a 99% in Trimble Access, it will default back to the DRMS here in Trimble Business Center unless you change this setting. So now in the Vector Spreadsheet, we have all those columns that we turned on. We have more control over what we're seeing here in the spreadsheet as well. I can control the width of all the columns. So if I want to read the actual heading, I just grab the vertical line between any column. Just like in Excel, if you double click, it's going to fit to the width of the header or the entry, whichever is longer. In the Vector Spreadsheet, you can click on any column to sort. Say we want to look for horizontal precisions. If I click on this horizontal precision, it's sorting from smallest to largest. That's what this little triangle means. So my smallest is 8/1000ths of a foot. If I click on the column again, it brings the highest precision, or the worst, to the top of the list. Well, what if I want to see a combination of a certain precision and a vertical precision? Using the filter, let's say we're looking for points that don't fall within the tolerance we require. Using this filter icon, the funnel, horizontal precisions, anything greater than 0.02, 200ths of a foot. So now I'm looking at only the points that are greater than 200ths of a foot. Once you've applied a filter to one column, you can continue to apply multiple filters to other columns. To bring all the data back, simply click All. If there's no blue funnels, you're looking at all of the data. Another way to use this vector spreadsheet is to edit rod heights. So again, I would typically sort by the vector. That puts them in shot order. If I knew from field notes that point 170 to 180 had the wrong rod height, I can click over here in the gray on point 170, scroll down to point 180, hold the shift on my keyboard. So I just selected those points. They highlighted on the map screen. If I right mouse click, I can bring up the properties. It's telling me that the point IDs vary, the rod height is the same. I can change it to, so I just changed all those to have a new rod height. The red recompute ball came back up again. I hit the recompute, and all of those vectors just now recalculated new position. Again, the critical thing there is you have to click on the gray bar. If I click somewhere in the vector, shift and pick somewhere in another vector, that does not select it. You have to select over here on the gray side. Remember, there is an undo, and all those rod heights are back. If you are using any of these filters, make sure you don't close the vector spreadsheet, or you will lose anything that you've applied. The last thing I'm going to show you is I can do a Control A, do a Control C to copy, and if I open up something like Excel, I can do a paste. If you do Control C and Control V, you don't get a header. If instead you use the right mouse click copy, when you go back into Excel and paste, you will get a header that goes for all spreadsheets within TBC. Thank you for watching another Seiler Instrument Quick Tip.